and welcome to my channel. I am sitting outside of my favorite thrift store ever. It is about 10 minutes from where I grew up, like 10-15 minutes, and it's about an hour from where I currently live, so I really don't get to come here that often, and I wish that I lived closer so that I could, because every time I come here I sincerely just find the best stuff. It's right next to a mall, and I feel like when people are going to the mall, they like stop here to donate all their stuff, and all the stuff that people donate here is just so good. So we're gonna go thrifting, and it's gonna be fun. We're gonna keep our fingers crossed that it's as good as I'm telling you, because if it's not, then I'd be a liar, right? So let's go in, let's see what we can get. For those of you who are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Mel. I'm a fashion blogger from Massachusetts. If you have been here before, thank you and welcome back to my channel. I always appreciate all of the watches and the likes and the subscribes, so make sure to do that before we start this video. And again, let's go thrifting. Walking into the thrift store, you can see here there are multiple tags that are on sale. Most of the store was 50% off actually. They keep their boutique items at the front of the store, which are usually nice handbags, new in-box items, and even vintage tools. It was closer to Easter when I filmed this, so you can see there was a lot of holiday decor. Some of it was kind of creepy. I made my way to the t-shirt section. There were a lot of single-use t-shirts and just graphic tees that didn't necessarily resonate with me personally, but I did actually look through every single item in the store today, whether or not it was in the men's or women's section. It was kind of interesting. The men's section was organized by color. However, once I got to the women's section, it was actually organized by size, so it kind of threw me off a little bit when I was walking through. In the women's section was a ton of new tag Zara. The way that they were pricing it was half off of the original price, which still made it kind of expensive. If you go to a thrift store that has new tag Zara items, just make sure you give them a once-over before you take them home. What I found personally at the ones near me is that Zara actually donates these items, maybe in bulk from the factory, that have damages on it. So think of things that have holes, broken zippers, things like that. You don't want to take home something that you wouldn't essentially be able to wear otherwise. Like I mentioned before, a lot of the things were all mixed in together. First, I looked at the jackets because they were 50% off today. I like the front of this Fashion Nova jacket that I showed you here, but once I flipped it over to the back, I realized it wasn't really my style. I was also loving this Free People top. Unfortunately, it was a size too small for me. I was really considering it though, but I do like my sweaters to fit oversized. I thought this heart sweater was super fun. I wear hearts all year round. It doesn't matter if it's Valentine's Day or not to me. So I put it in my cart to decide on it a little bit later. As you can see, the top section was packed today. There was so much to look through. Unfortunately, a lot of it, like I said before, single-use t-shirts, which I am anti-single-use t-shirt. I was really liking the sweater vest, but it was kind of scratchy, so I decided to pass on it. Now making my way to the skirt section, there were a lot of fun patterns that I found here. I really like that star skirt that you saw earlier. Unfortunately, it just wasn't my size. This longer striped skirt did make its way to my cart, and I did pass on this Lands End shirt because, again, it was not my size. I really like these J. Crew pants. I put them in my cart to decide on them later. I found this dress in the new tag Zara section. It was dead stock vintage, I would guess from the 90s. Unfortunately, they were asking $20 for it, which I thought was a little bit steep, so I left it behind. I finished up in the clothing and I made my way back to the homeware section. The store has a massive selection of furniture, rug. I scanned through everything super quickly because honestly, I don't think I could fit one more piece of furniture in my little apartment that I have. I was looking through all the linen section though, because sometimes I do like the idea of putting these into my project pile to turn into clothing later. I made my way back to the shoe section. I found a lot of those on cloud shoes that are on trend right now, which I thought were really interesting. As I was scanning through, I found something that caught my eye, and it was this pair of Converse that were strawberry printed, and guess what? They were my size and a pretty reasonable price too, so I added them to my cart so I could try on later. I found this pair of Allbirds, which was a little bit worn, but I put them in my cart as well to decide on them later because they used to be super popular back in the day. I love looking at all of the fun mugs. Again, I don't need any of my own, but it's really fun to look at all the cool sayings. I absolutely love this lamp. I thought that was so pretty, and this massive mirror. I wish I had room for it in my apartment. One of my last stops was the handbag section. I really like this green and tan like raffia bag. It almost looked like something that would be sold at Zara. I thought it was vintage, but it wasn't. And I checked one last rack before leaving. I found this Guinness sweater that I did take home with me. Also found this beautiful wedding dress, which was stained and way too small for me. We We are back, and when I tell you that was amazing, I mean it. That is my favorite thrift store, like I said, and for very good reason, because they always have the best stuff, and Winston agrees. So let me show you what I got. First up is this pair of Converse. They are, I think they're platform. It's kind of hard to tell. They might be, but they have strawberries all over them, and I love them so much. I saw these and I was like, please be my size, and they were. It was meant to be. They were only $14.99, half off, so I only paid $7.50 for them, which is so cheap for a pair of Converse. These are probably never worn. They really don't look like they have any wear on the bottoms or the sides at all. The weird thing about them, though, and didn't realize until after I got home, was that on the back they have this stitched into it. It says EMN, which is like someone's initials, I assume. I don't care though, because if I were to wear these with like flared pants, it definitely would cover the back of them, and I'm sure I can find a way to like integrate this somehow. Like I could probably like stitch a strawberry on top of this and make it just kind of blend in a little bit more, so I'm not really concerned about that. These are not my initials, so I can't wear them and say that they are for me, but I'm really happy that I found these, and I don't know, I feel like it was meant to be. Like when you just see something that you love and then it ends up being your size, it's like a true Cinderella moment. So very good. $7.50 for this pair. Just look at them. They're amazing, right? Next up in the shoe department, we have this pair of Allbirds. Allbirds had a moment many years ago, and I can see why they're coming back to the thrift stores now. This is another pair, again, my size. They were $8.99 before they were half off, so only $4.50. I figured I could purchase these and just kind of wear them around when I'm walking Winston or something. Nothing crazy. They seem super comfortable, so nothing really much to say about these except for the fact that it was cool to see them at their store, because they used to be very expensive, and I'm sure they still are new. It's just, you know, they had their moment. Now they're back. So really cool. Found those. Love it, love it. Next up is this pair of trouser pants. These are like a blue and green plaid, and they're my size, which is why I bought them. They're J. Crew. They're the Ruby pants. Ruby pant is what it's called. In my size. I try to pick up things that are fun and funky for like business whenever I can. I do travel sometimes for work, and you know, if I go into the office, I want to dress nice, but mostly when I have like in-person like field visits, this is what I try to wear. It's like a fun pair of pants with a blazer, and I think this is really cool for fall. So I got these. I try not to have a separate wardrobe for work and everyday life. When I go to the office, I go once a week. I work from home otherwise. The attire is very casual. They don't really have a very strict dress code by any means. So I don't have to wear like business professional clothing or even business casual clothing really when I go in. It's more when I see clients in person. So it's hard for me to wear my normal clothes if I'm going out and visiting them in person, because the way I dress on a daily basis is not always super professional. So this is a very small exception for me to have a separate wardrobe for work and otherwise. But yes, really cool pair of trousers. It's just nice to have trousers in your wardrobe. A lot of people wear them casually too. I just personally don't. Next up is this jacket, which is already covered in dog hair. But when I saw this, I needed to pick it up. It is Wrangler. It feels brand new. Like it doesn't feel like anyone's ever worn this, or it's just in really great condition. But it's Wrangler Hero, size large. I can't tell if the tag is vintage or not. Maybe you guys can let me know. But the quality of this just felt so good that I had to pick it up. This is a men's large, so I bought it with the intention for my fiance to actually wear, but he is not sure if it's something that he'll integrate into his wardrobe. So I might either try to wear it myself or maybe sell it online to someone who will get a little bit more use out of it. But it is a really cool piece, and this was half off. I forget how much it was, but all jackets were 50% off at the store. I went at the end of winter. This was a few weeks ago that I actually went, and they didn't really have that many jackets to choose from. So the fact that this was still there was really good, in my opinion. The next thing that I got, which is already put away for the winter, so I can't show you here, but I did get some footage of it that I'm sure you've already seen, is a sweater that says Guinness on the front of it. Now, it wasn't super great quality. It felt really cheap actually, but I felt like I needed to pick it up. I'm personally not really a huge fan of Guinness as a beer. I like beer just in general. I usually go to breweries almost every single weekend. However, Guinness is just not a beer that I personally like. Occasionally I'll have a sip of it. When I purchased this, it was right after St. Patrick's Day, so that's probably why it ended up at the thrift store. But I really needed it for some reason. I just loved it. The look of it, I thought the style of it was really cool, and I can wear it not just on St. Patrick's Day, but otherwise. I actually have a really funny story about Guinness, and it was when I was in college. My friends and I were on our way home from Boston, and we were in a lot of traffic for road work in the middle of the night. So we were stopped at a red light, like really far back from it. So we were probably waiting for like already a few minutes at this time, and we would have been waiting for like at least 10 more minutes in this traffic. I really had to use the bathroom, so I got out of the car and I went to the nearest bar that was right next to where we were parked, essentially. And I didn't know this at the time, but it was the bar that was in Good Will Hunting, which is funny because I've never seen that movie. And I didn't know that was the bar. But anyway, I went in and I was in line for the bathroom. And the bartender told me that I needed to purchase a drink in order to use the bathroom, which makes sense. So I did, and I didn't recognize any of the drinks that were on tap, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money on like another like mixed drink. So I just said, hey, can I have a Guinness? Because that was the only name that I recognized. So he handed it to me, and it took forever for him to pour it because he did it like the right way. You're supposed to like pour it in a certain way, I guess. And I just chugged it while waiting in line for the bathroom because I had to use the bathroom and I didn't want to waste the beer. So it's probably not a good idea that I did that, but I did. And yeah, that's what happened. I was fine. I just really didn't like it. And yeah, chugging a Guinness, if you know what it tastes like, you probably know that it's like not enjoyable. So I just always remember that now whenever I think of it. So it gives me good memories, and also it's fun to wear on St. Patrick's Day because I am Irish and I like the holiday a lot. So I'll show you maybe next year when I take it out of storage what it looks like. Last up, which is probably my favorite thing that I got out of this whole haul, are these two bread tins, which when I saw this, I was really confused about what it was. It's from the Pampered Chef, and it looks like a vintage box, but it's essentially like a tube, and both of them are shaped. This one's a heart, and this one is a flower. So I opened it, and these were only $3.99 each, and also 50% off, so the total between the two of them were just about $4. Both of them are brand new, never used, which is why I got them. Sorry, essentially it's a canister that you put like bread mix into, and you can see like the shape of it, and the whole tin is shaped, but you put like banana bread or whatever you want in it, and it turns into a loaf. So it's a loaf pan, and then you bake it closed like this, so the stuff doesn't spill out the sides. And the theory is that you cook it, and then you have a loaf that is shaped like something. So it's kind of interesting. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a video if I actually make something in this. I haven't yet. I've just kept it in this packaging. But yeah, I just thought this was like really interesting. I've never seen anything like this before. I didn't need it, and I won't use it that much. Next time I make bread, I'll think of this thrift trip, which I think is really nice. That was everything that I got, and I know I zoomed through that pretty quick. If you are watching and you have not subscribed yet, I recommend that you do. You can just press the button right below this to subscribe, and even hit the little bell notification to get notified every single time that I make a new video. I post a lot of thrifted content. I go thrifting quite a bit. Everything on my channel is pretty much fashion and now home related. So if you like that kind of thing, make sure that you are following along so that we can grow the thrifted community together, which I think is a really good thing. Thank you all for watching again, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!